You are welcome, everyone. I would like to request Teacher Justin, wherever you are, unmute your microphone and lead us into a prayer, an opening prayer.
God of hosts, for the fact that we are able to meet here on this platform, it means that you are on our side. Lord, our counselor, our comforter, and our guide, please help us today as we are hearing words of wisdom, oh my Father. Let this meeting be fruitful, and we pray that everybody may take this word. Father, we pray for our children, our learners who are in their respective homes. Father, we pray for the people who are going to facilitate. Father, may you bless them. Father, we cannot forget our director. We cannot forget the teachers and the Mbuya community, oh my Lord. Father, we pray that all will be well. We have prayed in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Amen. Try to mute your microphone plus your videos so that we are able to hear each other. Unmute your microphone when you're given a chance or an opportunity to talk to us. But the moment you want to hear the information, make sure your microphone is on mute. And to save the data wherever you are, I advise all the parents to switch off their videos. Okay, they turn off their videos. I encourage you to embrace ICT programs because it is a way to go now. It has become part and parcel of our lives.
And esteemed parents of Mbuya Parent School, I greet everybody in the name of Almighty God. I take this opportunity to thank our loving God for the protection He has given us throughout this pandemic, COVID-19. We have been so lucky. God has been so precious that He has protected us, and we are safe. Personally, I have not had any case of a sick parent. Okay, sickness has been on. I've not had a case of a child who is suffering from COVID-19 from Mbuya community, and we are still alive. We haven't lost any life. We want to glorify God for that. Allow me thank the teaching staff for everything they have done to make sure that our learners are engaged throughout the lockdown. These teachers are so committed. They came up with their own programs. You have been receiving some work on WhatsApp groups and marking guides. It has been due to their commitment and their effort. Let me be specific and thank the departments, mathematics led by two gentlemen, Mr. Salim Abubekar and Waifumo Joseph. They have been so instrumental in organizing their department members to do the needful. Mr. Kasasira Samuel, thank you so much for spearheading the SSC department to facilitate learning from a distance. Mr. Kabade Moses, he has been masterminding the English work. All teachers of English have been championed by him, and we are grateful for the work they have been doing. And Missionary Robert has been leading the scientists throughout this scientific ways of life. We have heard of scientific weddings, and we are now holding a scientific meeting. So Missionary for Mbuya Parent School, he has done it for our learners with his team of teachers of science to keep us engaged. I want to thank the administration led by the director for the guidance and support in everything we have been doing as a school. We can't really take them for granted. I want to thank the parents dearly for protecting our learners from COVID-19. You know, the ministry has always been giving us guidelines on how to keep safe. Yes, that was so wonderful. The ministry had the frontliners, but I want to believe that parents have been frontliners in their homes. So you have kept our learners very safe. I want to thank you for that. And I also want to thank you for the care you give our learners and the cooperation you have between yourselves and the school. We can't take you for granted. Yeah, we all received invitations and the topic was very clear. Tips on maintaining a productive routine and ensuring quality time with your child during the lockdown. This is going to be the center of our discussion. To highlight, the learner is going to be the focal point or the fulcrum or the scientific pivot. We are going to focus on the learner. How best can we keep our learners learning throughout this lockdown? That is the main thing. Then also, I've given you a brief background of what we have been doing as a school, and the HM is going to give you the details of whatever I've left out and what I've highlighted. But if I may pose a question, do you need them? You have so far experienced some of these programs for 12 weeks. Are they helpful? Do we need them, or you are taking us back to the analogy of the cow and the water? You know, it is very easy for a herdsman to deliver or to push the cows to the water stream or to the stream, but it is different when it comes to making the cows drink the water. So we could be sending the work, but on the other hand, you don't see the value of this work. So feel free to share with us. Feel free to share with us. And by the end of this meeting, we should be able to chart the way forward, the best ways forward on how we can move on from now onwards. For this meeting, I'm going to work with HM closely. Being a scientific meeting, we are going to play double roles as panelists at the same time, moderators. So I request you bear with the situation, and I hope everything is going to be well. I want to request every parent feel free to contribute in this meeting. Yeah, share with us whichever opinion, whichever suggestion, whichever opinion, we shall appreciate it. Then I also want to beg that we mind about time, since this is a scientific meeting. Time matters a lot. We need to keep the time stated. It's supposed to be 2 hours. Let's try to avoid repetitions. If any person has already raised a point and you have a similar, a related idea, I request you present a different one so that we save time. We would love to hear from most of your parents, if need be all of you. I want to request that we get a pen and a piece of paper and we write whichever reactions we have, because in our effort to maintain the time, we are going to have all the panelists speak at once. Then you are going to make reactions at the end of all the communications. So I want to imagine, if you don't write down something, you might end up forgetting the point by the time all the 3 panelists present. So please mind that. And we have been requested to keep our microphones mute so that there is no interference. In case you have a reaction, you will have to use the hand signal provided in the Zoom. Let me take this chance and invite our head teacher of the Mighty School, Mr. Umumwa Richard, to take us through.
But our deputy head teacher, academics, for that very important guidance and the message that you shared with the parents. Our guest speaker, Ms. Letitia Morongi, senior psychologist, child psychologist. Our dear directors, our teachers, beloved parents, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Richard Omumwa, head Mbuya Parents School. Allow me also to take this opportunity to welcome you to this Weber. Thank you for making it. Allow me also to register the apologies for a shaky and shady start. We had some technical issues, which I believe are now sorted. Thanks to our colleague, Stephen. We are very grateful for the rescue. The purpose of this meeting is to offer guidance on how best parents can maintain productive routine with their children, even in the lockdown. A topic that will be handled by our main facilitator, Ms. Letitia Murungi. That will be done later. We shall be discussing school plans for continued learning during this lockdown, and also to receive a feedback and suggestions from you, the parents. Our staff, as earlier on communicated by the deputy head teacher, we have posted quality content on our websites, YouTube, and class WhatsApp groups, and we want to believe that you've been benefiting from this work. We have also conducted debates over the weekend, and I want to thank the parents for allowing the children to have interactions during the debates, allowing them to use your gadgets. We have also assigned home projects, which most of your children did while at home. In particular, I want to have a mention on a boy called Jera of Pure Primary 1. I think he had an amazing project where he used boxes, come up with a very beautiful house. It was very encouraging. And on that note, I would love to encourage all our parents to support their children's learning and development while at home. Because before these children come to school, they have already started the education at home. So you parents are always the first teachers at school here. The teachers come in as in the second place. So this should be keenly noted. Then we shall be able to facilitate learning in a positive way. I will also do the same encouragement for other parents to work with their children. As we work with them, they learn. Practice patience with their learning abilities, because we are gifted differently. Please always try to reassure your children all the time, even when they fail to do what you have guided them. Give them support. Expose them to more than education, activities such as sports, house chores, the values and virtues, so that they can be all well-rounded. It's also important to create routines and structures by drawing timetables at home where our children can have a specific routine to follow. Remember, when these children come to school, we will subject them to a fixed routine. And we also ask them to set priorities. So all these should all be taken home, and let that charity begin from home. We encourage you to create tasks that are not passive, but involving. Some of these children have short attention span. They cannot be on tasks for long. So let's have short tasks that can interest them. These tasks should be very interesting, since most of our children learn by hearing, others by seeing, and others by doing. So it is important as parents that we embrace all those learning styles. Going forward, we look at our parenting style in the 21st century. It's quite characterized by advancing technology and access to information. That seems to be very fast and easy. So I do encourage all parents to be always available in their parents, in their children's lives, since technology is here to stay. Allow me quickly to take you through some of the school plans on continued learning during the lockdown. As a school, we had programmed continued learning for our children right from March, when schools were temporarily closed. We have been sending learning materials for the last 12 weeks, and I'm happy to report that most of the work has been covered. Thank all the learners who religiously followed up the work, and the parents who gave guidance and created conducive learning environment for their children. As per today, the 14th of June, 2020, we shall break up for a week to allow our learners and the teachers to rest in preparation for term 2 2020 work. We expect to resume on 22nd of June 2020 with the same package of work. And we also intend to roll out an online mode of teaching, that's the Zoom webinar, which our teachers have already undertaken a training, and they are well placed to handle. Are very humbled for your considerate gesture. And we do encourage those who are still having pending balances of term 1, please do clear, because we are because of you. On the same note, allow me to thank the directors of this school for facilitating all our learning activities during this lockdown for the last 12 weeks. They have also tried to do the remitting of teachers' salaries. Our teachers are paid up to date. So it is a very, very good gesture that keeps us motivated and moving. However, we know where we're moving, things may grow tougher. Therefore, I request the parents to stand with us during this time. Parents we will be having more of the package that we've been giving you. But on top of that package, we come in with a Zoom lessons. We want to have our children have instant feedback, interface with their teachers on a daily basis. We need them to have a classroom situation from your sitting room. So we request that you provide a conducive environment at home where these children can take on these lessons during this lockdown. We are not in for a dead year, and that's why we are saying we want to position ourselves, because we are continuously getting updates from the Ministry of Education, and I want to assure you that schools will open soon. So we should just be in the learning mode so that our children don't lag behind. Pupils and parents in the candidate class are also reminded that there will be a registration of PLE. We gave you forms when you're breaking up. Please go ahead to make those choices so that we avoid the last minute panic. We are very aware when schools open, the pace will be a bit high. So we encourage you to do things in advance. Our dear parents, we have also learned with great concern that some of you have started persuading our teachers to come to their homes and coach the children. A move that we think undermines our school arrangements, and also the Ministry of Health's guidelines. Therefore, we request all the parents to desist from such acts, because it's not professional of our teachers, and neither is it ethical. Kindly, let's not divert the teachers' concentration. We need these teachers to serve all these children equally. and we really don't want to run a risk of being an isolation center of COVID-19 cases, because when our teachers come there, we are not saying that you have COVID, but you also don't know where these teachers move from, and we can't know, we can't be very sure. So kindly, I request maintain that social distance and respect the guidelines put across. We are working out and looking at a structure whereby we love parents to come in, support the school with these lessons, with effect from what we are timing to be second term, and all for your support. You will be requested at an opportune time to make a contribution towards this project, because we have pushed it for this time, and trust me, it has not been easy. Yoga was and really need you to come in. So we are working out as administrators, also benchmarking the competitive schools that we are working closely with, and way forward, especially when it comes to areas of the parents' contribution. Okay, at this juncture, allow me invite our guest speaker of the day, Miss Letitia Morongi, a child psychologist who must be on the line right now to speak to us.
Hello, parents, guardians. I hope you're all well. We've been home for a long time. School is closed, but it's the new normal. So my name is Letitia Murungi. Some of you have met me before. Please continue to let us know in the chat in case you can't hear me. Please feel free to continue letting us know so we can see how to make it better. Okay, so like as earlier introduced, my name is Letitia Murungi. I am a school psychologist. I actually work with the ARC schools. So we are also on lockdown, the schools at home. But I spend my time at the schools most of the time, working with the teachers, the children, and the parents. And I also, of course, see children privately, and I also see parents to give them advice on how to make things better for their children. So I'm going to try and keep this within the time, because I know there is a time where you will want to say something or ask something. Some of you haven't had the communications well from the head teacher. So I'm going to try and keep this as short as I can, and also give you some time to share. What I'm going to talk about today has already been hinted on. Actually, some of the speakers before me were talking about it. They kept advising you, please make sure the children have done their work. Please make sure that they're still following things the way they should do them. And that is actually our topic for today. Our topic is how to maintain a productive routine and ensure quality time with your child. So I'm going to share my screen, that's so you can go along with me. I hope you can all see it. Yes. So the first thing that I want to talk about is we're using this word routine a lot. But what is a routine? This might be a word that not everyone maybe understands the way it's used. Before we talk about a routine, let's break down a habit. And why are we saying that these things are important for children? We are going to see why it's important for children and how it's going to help you at this time when the children are at home. Now, a habit is when you do something all the time. It's like a certain behavior that you have all the time and becomes a custom. So you have certain habits. So we brush our teeth every morning. You know how to tie your shoelaces. These are different habits. What makes them a routine is when now you get all these habits, these important habits, and you put them into an established way that they go every day. So if it is that you brush your teeth in the morning, every day you brush your teeth in the morning. Not that today you brush your teeth in the morning, then the next day you brush your teeth at midday, and the next day you brush your teeth in the evening. It is trying to see to it that all your habits, the good habits, are established in a customized way to your family. But also you're making sure that it does not inconvenience the way things in your family run. So when we're looking at a routine, we're looking at a way that you have your habits and you're following them the same way daily. But why are we saying that routines are important for children? Why are we saying that, a child should have a routine? When you do things the same way at home, I know they're at home right now. They've left school, and believe me, if you ask the administrators, schools have routines. The way the school runs is according to a routine. You have breakfast at this time, then you go for lunch, you go for your subjects, there's a time for break to go and play, there's a time for this. That is what helps the children to move along in a very easy and better way. And why is it important? Because when children know what's happening, when I say stable, predictable, to predict something is to know it's going to come. When children know what is going to come, they cooperate much better. Things are regular and it allows them to persevere. So for example, if when they're doing their work, but they know that, okay, I get to take a break, even if this part was hard, I know I'm going to have a break because they know the break is coming. Then they know in the afternoon, I'm going to continue. So I will try again in the afternoon. It allows for a child to persevere. It allows for a child to be more regular. And if you're doing things in a routine, that is, you're doing the things the same way every day, children learn the skills. They become more perfect at what they're doing because it's not up and down. You're doing it the same way, the same day. So with time, the children learn. And once the children internalize this skill, once they learn these things, they actually become more independent. As parents, we like to assist our children. We help them with everything. They will ask, I can't do this. We come in as adults. It's natural. It's natural for us to want to help them. But when you have put your habits in a routine for that day, once a child does it from Monday to Friday of this week, surely by the next week, it might be a bit better. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but as you go along, the child is going to become more independent. They're going to know, I have to do this at this time, then I get into this, and that allows them to be more productive. Another thing that a routine helps is it is important that as a child growing into an adult, you learn how to plan. You learn how to prioritize. I'm sure you've had those incidences at home where you tell your child it's time to get dressed, and instead your child goes outside to play. And yet you are supposed to be going somewhere. And then you ask your child, how is it that you have continued to play instead of getting dressed? The ability to prioritize, to put first things first, and then do the next thing. If you get your child into a routine, you're teaching them these skills with time. So as someone keeps growing, they are able to plan, they're able to prioritize. Now, those are the benefits of a routine. And I am encouraging you to look at creating routines for your children at home. Now, sorry, there's someone, please kindly mute. What should a routine help with? What are these basic needs, these fundamental needs that even if your children are no longer at school, they will help your child to be more productive, your child will continue to develop the way they should, and when they get back to Mbuya parents, they are simply continuing and readjusting now to being back in school. This is not a time for our children to sit home and be dormant, for them to not be stimulated, for them to just be there watching TV all the time. That's not it. Their lives continue. We don't know how long schools are closed. We don't know how long COVID is for. It might even be for the whole year, God forbid. But your children might be home for the whole year. So the routine is going to help you to ensure that your child is getting the things that they need. So I want to point out some of the needs that a child has that you should keep in mind when you're creating a routine. As you can see on the screen, the first thing is physical development. Their physical development is very, very important. They need daily, if possible, daily physical exercise. Now that can be in form of playing freely, but also it can be in form of creating particular games that they do. Now I know outside right now, we're not being encouraged to let the children play with other people, and we're trying to avoid infections and trying to avoid the spread of COVID-19. But even in your space, even if it is that you can designate somewhere behind your house, even if it's that maybe it's in the sitting room and you do jumping jacks. I don't know if you remember jumping jacks, where you do a part together, and you do jogging on the spot, depending on your space. If you can go outside, when you're creating a routine, please do not miss out creating time for physical activity. It also helps children. We want our children to study and learn. It is actually seen that if children have enough physical activity, it helps them to be more alert. It helps with their attention. They are more alert, even with the work you want them to do. Another thing that you should keep in mind that a routine should help with is things like being able to focus, being able to sit and independently do work with time. Not that it's going to happen immediately, but when something is happening constantly, they know there's this time where I have to sit. When I sit, I have to do my work from point A to point B and finish it. When these things are in a routine, i.e. they are happening at the same time every day, especially during the week, the child is able to focus more and more because now there is consistency. A child knows that there's a time where I get to play with my toys, and then they get to be creative. I have had the administrators encouraging you to continue giving your children the project work. Put that into the routine so they know at this time of the day, this is what comes. There's time for me to sit and do my project work. It's going to build on their creativity. It's going to build on independent thinking with time. So you no longer have to keep throughout all the months to come and sit down, come and sit down. Then this time it's at 4 p.m. The other time it's at 2 p.m. The other time it's at 1 p.m. Everyone doesn't know how things are going. Here, they'll be able to know when they're supposed to focus. It will improve their study skills. They'll become more creative. They'll become more independent. Another thing that a routine helps with is social skills. Now, some children, I'm sure, are doing chores, but maybe some are not doing things like chores. Chores are very good for building confidence. When from a young age, you're able to do things for yourself, be it sweeping, be it keeping your own toys, be it taking your dishes to the kitchen, cleaning the dishes and helping. If you have a house helper, note, or if it is you who does it. That is a social skill that is very important in this time. It is something that our children need, and it's important to put it in their routine. So they have time for classwork, they have time to watch whatever the teacher who is on the TV show, but they also have a time where they're supposed to do a chore. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but it can be for a short time. These things are going to make them have self-drive. They're going to be able to take initiative. Like, they don't have to wait for someone to tell them that, okay, this place is dirty. When they learn these things, they are more socially adapted to cope in other situations. So in a routine for a child, it would be important that you also consider putting in things like chores, putting in things where they have to be responsible for themselves. But remember, you're going to keep teaching. Another thing that a routine helps with is building on their emotional development. Remember, these areas are all important. One is not more important than the other. If you have a child who is not socially healthy, it's going to affect them in class. They won't be able to have friends. They will not know how to get along with other people. If you have a child who is very quiet, has low confidence, cannot talk, fears the work, cannot say anything to you, mommy, this number is hard. If you have a child whose emotions, they're always scared, that will not help them. So that is why I'm mentioning all these parts, to see how you fit them into that routine. So in the routine where you're dealing with their emotional development is where you have time to bond with your children. If it is that, I know we've now gone back to work, so many of you are leaving home, but maybe some of you are still at home. If you're still at home, try to find time to bond with your children. It could be through mealtime. But in that mealtime, you sit together and you give them a chance to talk. You ask them, how are things going? How is this subject going? How is what do you miss? The more children learn to speak up at the right time, because of course it's not like we're encouraging them to talk all the time unnecessarily, but when they learn that, okay, I actually have a voice, I have a right to speak, that is very good for them. But it comes with these activities that you put into your routine. If they know mealtime is a time where we eat, then we get to talk. Mealtime is a time where I get to spend time with my dad, even if it's 5 minutes. He's tired, but he gets to sit with me. And I know that comes at around 7:30 after food, because you've come from work and all of these things. Put that in there. In a routine, children should have time to play. Now, right now, many of them, I think, are playing, and which is good. So when you create this routine and schedule, do not take out time for play. Do not take out time for creativity. Allow your children to get a chance in a safe space to go outside, to play. They can play with their siblings. You can actually join them in play as part of the bonding experience. Now, for a routine to work, these are the things we need to keep in mind. Consistency. Consistency, like I said, means you do something and you try to keep to it as much as possible. You don't wake up and do it Monday and Tuesday and then you leave Wednesday and Thursday. Like anything we do as adults, if it is exercise, if it is trying to eat in a more healthy manner, if it is planning for those tasks that your boss or you as the boss, the tasks that you have at your workplace, if you start and you follow your routine or your schedule for 2 days and then for the other 4 days you don't, it will never become consistent. It will never become something that helps you. So I encourage you as a parent, you're going to need to be patient. You're going to need to be understanding. You're going to need to teach. but don't give up. Remain consistent. And of course, over the weekends, you can keep it flexible. The weekends do not have to be as scheduled as the weekdays. So, but on the weekend still, you can have a weekend routine. So you can have a routine for the week, and then on the weekend, it's a different kind of routine. So now we've talked about the things that would be good to have in a routine. And we've seen why a routine is very important for children's development and the benefits that it has. So how? What things can you keep in mind? Because you can plan the routine, but sticking to it, I've asked you to try and stick to it. What will help you make sure that in your family, with your children, you're able to stick to a routine that's going to benefit you during this time and for your child? Engage your child. Now, some of you have children who are as young as P1, but even a child who is 6 years old has something to say. I am not saying that whatever they say, you agree, but it's actually important to put children together, to bring them and make them part of the process. Because when you make them part of the process, they will buy into it. They will feel like they own it. They will make more effort, not you coming and you say, okay, we finished this webinar with Mbuya parents, time for a routine. Children, this is how things are going to work. You're going to wake up at this time, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're telling them, and then that's it. They will do it because you've told them. But if you want to be more effective, engage them. Bring them into it and say, in our home, we need things to run a certain way. What things do you think we need to do? Hear what they have to say. Then you as the parent, come in and give your guidance as you create the routine. Another thing that you do to help you stick to this routine and to help your children stick to this routine. And I remember this helped me when I was younger with my mother. My mother was a teacher and she was teaching in, I think, 2 secondary schools. So she would leave home and there's a time even where we didn't have a house help. So it was just me and my sister. But because we had created a routine, we would now post it. She would write it. So for the ones who are old enough, like P5, P5, P6, P7, it can just be a list, and you can actually make them be the ones to write this list. They can even make it as creative as they want. They can even use a chart. You can buy them a manila paper. They write that this goes from this time to this time to this time to this time. Post it somewhere. Let it be in the house. I know we want our houses to look nice, but remember, children are very, very important to us. And these things are going to help them because when they keep looking at it, they have something to refer to. Even when you're absent. Yeah. No, you know. And that way, you're able to actually check in. For some of you who have gone back to work, you're able to call in. Maybe you can call the house help and you ask, hello, have the children done A, B, C, D? So post this schedule. If you have younger ones from like P3, P2, P1, even kindergarten, you can, some of you who are at workplaces where you have access to a computer or a printer, just go into Google and type in every activity that you would want to put in the schedule. So if there is brushing teeth, sweeping, sitting and coloring, there are pictures. You just get those pictures, put them in a Word document. Why I'm saying pictures is because all children do better with visuals. They do better when there is some kind of something to refer to. And if there's a picture, it's even better. So you create a schedule where you cut out pictures, print them, bring them, put them on the chart so that the younger child of P1, nursery, can look, and even if they can't read all the words, they can see, okay, it's time for this, it's time for this, it's time for this. So please post the schedule. That will help. Post that routine. It helped us a lot because we knew what we had to do and we knew what we had to finish. Now remember, if sometimes you fall out of the routine, somehow things don't work out the way they should, that's okay. Be flexible, continue making adjustments. Sorry, there is someone speaking. Hello. Hello. Yes, I was saying that in case you... It's a good thing. Can the admin help me? There's a lot of background. Can you hear me? So I was saying that if you that thing is very good, we can. So I was saying that if you fall off the routine, if the routine doesn't go the way you planned it, don't beat yourself up and say, I'm tired of this routine thing. These things are for... No, nothing is going to come perfectly in the beginning. Remember, you're going to have to teach and you're going to have to be patient. Then sometimes you're going to have to adjust because your children are going to come back and tell you, now for me, this, that. Listen to what they say. See how you can adjust the routine. You can help your children write this routine. You, like I have said, be with them in the process. Help them write a schedule. They can write a schedule for their subjects. They can write it either on a daily basis or they can write one for the week. Whenever you involve them in that process, you're helping them to create a vision for what is expected of them. You don't have to do so much of the work with time because now they know what is expected, whether you're there or not. Another tip that can help you with the routine is right now you have access to the teachers. You have access to the school. Try and find out what the schedule is like at school. How do things generally run? You don't have to do it military like the school, but get an idea of what your child goes through during the term and try to see what you can incorporate into your schedule. The time for the breaks, the time for the subjects, how long the subjects run. You can actually use the school schedule and how it generally does things to fit that in. But remember, be flexible because your child is at home. So that's why I'm saying don't try to follow it to the exact parts, but see guidance on like how long they take breaks for, how long subjects go for. Now that there's a point just here at the end that says set time for breaks, and it's very, very important. Children need breaks. We're looking at attention span, and actually I think the headmaster mentioned it, that children have different attention spans. You will not be doing much if you force a child to sit for an hour and do math for an hour. If after 15 minutes, the child's brain switched off, zero work. So it's important that as you're creating a routine for the day, then you're also looking at the timetable, how the subjects fit into the day. Put time for breaks. And we're going to see how much time for breaks children need. But a child can do with maybe the older children who are in upper school I mean like P4, P5, P6, P7. They can have a break of at least maybe 20 minutes, about 10, 15 minutes. The younger ones can also have about 15, 20 minutes of a break. You'd rather have a child have breaks and then come back than have a child sit there and you feel that the child is doing work and yet they're doing nothing. So put in those short breaks. They are very, very important. I'd already talked about this, that look at how long the subjects are in school and try to use the same thing. If they were 40 minutes or 30 minutes, you can try and do that for the children where they sit and work for about 30 minutes and then they take a short break before they go into the next subject. Another thing that helps with the routine and will help children is using a timer. Now you might wonder, what is a timer? Our phones have timers. If you check on your phone, there's a timer. And if there is a phone you're able to leave at home that can be managed, they just have to put a timer for some children. Children need sometimes to see how much time they're supposed to do something for, because they get anxious, they feel like they just want to be done with this. But when they know, oh, okay, I have this much, then they will put in some more effort. You can use a clock, get a clock or buy a clock, put it there and teach your child when the long hand starts from this number to this number, that's how long I expect you to have done this and this work. Remember, you have talked to them about how you can break down the work. Like I've said, they'll be more cooperative, they'll work harder if they know for how long they need to work and when they're expected to work, not just at any one point. So when you have a timer there, it helps them to track themselves. When you have the routine displayed, it also helps them a lot. Now, of course, we do not encourage a lot of screen time. And not to contradict our IT specialist who talked about us getting into this area of screen time, but we also have to see that we also have to face the fact that for children, this affects brain development, this affects a lot of things. So it's not good for a child to be on the screen all day. That is maybe the TV, then from the TV to the laptop, then the iPad. So maintain the limits you've had on screen time. Keep the screen time for studying and encourage them to get outside and play. Remember when I talked about the things that need to be in the routine, they need breaks, they need time outside, they need to go and play, they need to be creative. So keep those limits on screen time if you must. If you want to adjust them, do it in a way where it's intentional. Talk to your child, sit and talk to the children and say, okay, so in the past I was only allowing you to watch TV from 6 p.m. Now I've noticed that we're finishing everything earlier. We're going to adjust and maybe you can start watching at 5:30 and maybe we finish at 6:30 to get ready for meals. So if you're going to change the screen time, be intentional. Don't just let them just watch non-stop and you've not talked to them about it and you've still not put certain limitations to the screen time. Part of our routine, schedule in times for meals and snacks. The children are home right now and they are eating all the time. I'm sure some of you even are struggling with the bill has gone up because you buy fruits, they're in the fridge, they are over. You buy crisps, over. Everything, gorillas, they are eating all the time, you see, because when they think this is like a long holiday. But at the same time, when even for us adults, if you notice, when you eat excessively, when you eat when you're not hungry, it actually leaves you feeling tired. You're slower in the way you do things. It will not negatively affect a child if you schedule, if you put into the routine the time for eating food and the time for a snack. And it gets them to, they get to look forward to it. They know, okay, I'm doing this work, and then at this time I'm going to have a snack. Not that at any one point they're having snacks. They will end up being slower. They'll end up feeling tired, even when they don't know where it's coming from. So don't give children snacks and food all the time. Put it as part of the routine. And like I have said, there will be times where you're not able to support them. Maybe you're not at home, or the house help is not able to help. So of course, that's when you utilize the educational TV shows. Right now on TV, the teachers are teaching. You can utilize that time, but still maintain a limit to the screen time. And like I'd said, be patient. Sometimes they might struggle in the beginning. Sometimes they might not follow through with the routine as you want them to. This is a journey. It's not something that you're going to do in a week and be perfect. It's not something that you're going to do in a week and everything is going well. These are children. They are human beings, just like even you. You have a routine, but it takes you some time. So be patient with them, but keep supporting them and empathize with them. Other things that you should consider putting into your routine, okay, that will be helpful to them. And these things will also help, because we had said we're also talking about quality time that you need to spend with your child. Encourage your children to read. Not only reading subject matter, but reading books. A child who reads books are very good for brain development. They're very good for brain stimulation. So if they can fit time into the routine, if you can fit time and you say reading time, there is beg your pardon? Sorry, drop everything and read. Encourage your children to read. Build a reading culture in children. It will benefit them so much as they grow older. It's very good for vocabulary. They are learning more words as they read these stories. They are learning how stories go. It builds on focus. So please encourage children to read. Right now, since they can't go and play with their friends, allow them to take walks and even go with them on the walk if you can, because these days we're getting home earlier. Take a walk with your child and keep pointing out things you see. It looks like something small, but it's actually very good for them because they are learning. You're reasoning with them. So you can do that. Encourage them to be creative and make up games. They can make up games with newspapers, labels. They can count things in the house during their breaks. If a child comes to you and says, Daddy, I am bored, put on the TV, put on the TV. No, you tell them, let's think of other things to do. Try and think of other things to do. It's actually okay to leave children to be bored. You don't always have to have something that you're giving them to do. Because when we were younger, we didn't have TV on all the time. Actually, a lot of the time we were outside and you had to think of what to play with. So that's how you ended up making a leaf. You end up making an airplane out of a leaf. That came from you being creative. So get them to make games for themselves. They can draw. That can be done during their breaks in the routine. Art is a very good form of keeping their minds thinking. Use music. You can sing together, you can drum, they can dance, they can come up with different movements. They need all of this. They need the laughter, they need the humor, and it's actually very important to them. So please don't think that right now all that is important is looking at a book. It is balancing all of these things out into a routine. So put in time for reading, put in time for some art, put in time for some free dancing, creativity, classwork, watching something on TV if they need to, and time with you. Limit the distractions. Like I have said, the screens are very limiting. You can allow your child to play on a screen during break, but also make sure that it's not that the TV is on while they are studying, that someone is watching something while they're studying. So create a space. Like right now, I'm still at a desk. If you can create a space, it doesn't have to be a desk, even if it's in the corner of the sitting room, but it's the same place that a child sits when it's time for work. Do that. Create a space because it builds on their focus. They know, okay, at this time, they look at the routine, the schedule, hey, it's time for me to go do some math. But I don't do math on my bed today, then do math under the bed, then do it in the corridor. No, there's this place where I sit and I do my work. So it can be anywhere, a designated space that is devoted for learning. I've already talked about screen time, but the thing I want to emphasize here is that Substitute that time where they have to learn on the screens, because I know they're going to send you YouTube videos, they're going to send all these things, but also use the school learning mediums, the work that the packages that the teachers are going to send you. It's very good for children to have a chance to use print, to read. So do not only leave them to study online and on screens, balance it out with using the school mediums, what the school will have given you, because it will be very, very good for them. Sorry. And then for sleep, try and maintain the same sleep pattern that the children had when they were going to school. If children were sleeping by 8, remember, for them, they think this is a long holiday. And this doesn't help them, because if a child doesn't sleep enough, just so you know, children need about 10 to 12 hours of sleep. The older ones need about 10. The younger ones, P1, P2, P3, they need about 12 hours of sleep for their brains to be alert enough, for their brains to be able to grasp and learn through the day. So sleep time in that routine, please put in the sleep time and try to maintain the same sleep time they had before. So when you come home, just because they were home all day, they start to prepare to go to sleep. And you can even create a routine for that. What do we do first? We brush our teeth, we do this. If you want to create a routine for that, you can even create a small one for sleeping, time to go to sleep. What do you do 30 minutes before you go to sleep? So like I have said, it's important to remind them that much as they are not at school, this is not a long holiday and that their education is important to them. Have this discussion with them when you're creating the routine, that's so they know that certain things are still going to be there, because they're going to get back to school and tests will still be there, exams will still be there, all these obligations are still going to be there. They're still expected to thrive, to do well. So I encourage you to talk to your children and remind them that this is not a long holiday, and that is what a routine will help you with, because you will set it up together and you're like, okay, we're just at home, but the world is still going on and we still need to follow through and do different things, but they can't do it on their own. That's why they need you as the adult, as the parent, to sit, listen to them, hear their suggestions. Where they want the breaks, you see if that's where the breaks can fit. What they want to do during the breaks, you fit it in there, keeping in mind that you do not want to let them be on the screens too much, keeping in mind that they need to go outside and play, keeping in mind that they need to sleep enough, keeping in mind that they need to have responsibilities and chores. So remind them that this is not a long holiday, but this is for their education. Now, last but not least, is remember to schedule time for fun. Remember to schedule time for fun. Children need to have fun while they're at home and even while they're at school. And remember, this is an opportunity for you to bond with your children. So what was I saying? I had mentioned that earlier when I said it can be during dinner time. Make it a point where that when you're at home, you eat together and you talk and you play. You can have those board games, Monopoly. There are so many of these games. You can still put it even after COVID, even after this lockdown ends. These are things you can incorporate into your routine. That's why in the evening, after dinner, we get to have 30 minutes where we play a board game. We get to play chess if you have chess. We can have a walk together. Do those things with your children. It's okay for them to do these things with fellow children, with the house help, with whoever else is there. And you as a parent, you're tired and you say, okay, you know, as long as they're doing the thing. But there's a lot of power. I would like to emphasize there's a lot of power in a parent spending time with their child, in a parent being the one to play with their child, in a parent being the one to take that walk with their child. There is a lot of power that you get to teach a child during that time. You get to hear what's happening in their lives. Get down to their level. Go down to the floor if they're playing with blocks. Spare some 10 minutes. Play with those blocks. If they're drawing something in the evening, remember, we have reduced screen time because it's actually not good for children to look at the screens before they go to sleep. It actually doesn't, it distracts the mind and a child takes longer to go to sleep. Even adults, but here we're talking about children. So if after supper, TV doesn't have to come back on. The TV stays off and you do these things. You can organize a competition. I called it a tournament here, but you can organize a competition, some fun game that you can do in the house. Play with the games, play cards, play Monopoly. If it's not yet nighttime, walk with them. Schedule time for fun, schedule time for bonding. And that would be best in the evenings. You've come back from work and you give your children at least 30 minutes of your time without all of these distractions that the world has put in place, because they really need that from you and it will build even on their confidence. Like I'd said, the time, you list the times for learning. So we had looked at the 20 minutes maybe or 30 minutes for learning, and then a 10-minute break. And that break can be physical. Actually, I would encourage you, if you can get your child, if they take their break, encourage it to be a physical break. Let them do all of these things. If it's jumping, if it's stretching, if it's going outside, if it's running up and down the steps, put that in your schedule. And if you're working from home, create your routine, your schedule, and try to match it to the children's. And then, depending on their age, you can explain to them that when you're working, Dad is also working. So you explain to them your priorities. And if you're not at home, you say, when I am away from home, I'm also working and I follow a routine. Here at home, you're going to be following the same routine. You can make it a family meeting, sit with the house help, talk to the house help, follow up on the house help, because right now that's what you have to help you with the children following this routine. But if it is displayed, if you call and check in, if you discuss with them every end of the week and see where to make adjustments, the children will be more and more attached to this routine and they will become more independent and all those other benefits we talked about earlier. I've already talked about bonding. Sit with your children, have supper with them, play with them, spend as much time as you can. Now, lastly, the last slide says stick to limitations and give consequences. Because you see you're teaching your children to fit into this routine, there are times they're not going to follow it. There are times they're going to want to do things differently. They're going to keep testing the boundaries. So it is important that you discuss what will happen if a child, that the routine that you both agreed on, if say they don't get to do at least 10 numbers of math today, or 5 numbers of science according to the routine where classwork was. If during that time they were playing, you talk to them before. Say, if we keep missing out things in this routine, if we're supposed to wash the cups, but we didn't wash the cups, and you set up consequences. If it is that there will be no TV for that whole day, that's a consequence. If it is going to sleep earlier than usual, that is a consequence. When I say consequence, people like to call them punishments. But a consequence is something that teaches someone to reflect on their behavior and see that, okay, because I did this and it didn't go well, this is why I suffered this. Even us as adults, when you don't put in your work, that's how your boss eventually says, we can no longer have you working for us. Consequences happen to everyone, but children learn from an early age these consequences. So discuss them after you create this routine and follow through with these consequences. A big challenge for adults, a big challenge for parents sometimes is that you will set up the things you will do if a child doesn't follow through, but when it comes to doing them, you don't follow up. So the child doesn't finish their work today, and then you say, oh, let me and then you leave it. That's not how it works. The child sees you and says, oh, so if I just tell mommy that, you see, mommy, me, I don't know, I slept, I got lost, and nothing happens, the child is going to keep doing it. So when you set these consequences for following the routine, follow them consistently. Every time this happens, the child knows what is expected and you do it. That way the child will learn to stick to it as much as possible. If you find that that's the time you have to adjust your routine or you need to be flexible, discuss it with the child. So the child doesn't think that the routine has gone off. No, it's that maybe on Wednesday, I have to take you to the hospital. So because you have to go to the hospital with me, we're not going to follow the routine for home. Discuss it with the child. So they know that the routine still stands, but we had to be flexible for this and the other. So that is what I would want to share when it comes to a routine. A routine is very, very beneficial. It's very helpful. It's not just for the times of COVID. It is something I encourage you to come up with and continue throughout with your children. When they know what they're going to expect, when they know how long it's going to be, when they have all the things that they need fitted into that routine, they thrive. They do much, much better. And keep in mind what we've talked about, their physical health, the things that they need to do physically, that is play, that is exercise, the things that they need to do to build social skills, being responsible, being creative, taking initiative, doing house chores, their social skills, being able to play with other people, they need that in their routine. We had talked about also their emotional growth, spending quality time with your child. And what will help you is setting it in the routine. If you tell yourself, I spend time with my children, the world is a busy place. So you're going to find yourself Monday, you didn't get a chance, Tuesday, you didn't get a chance, because there was nowhere where you fit it in and you had to make the effort. So even if you were going to stay in town past 2 p.m., you know, usually I spend time with them between 6 and 6:30 because that is how the routine goes. They are expecting it. That way you get to come home and do that with them. So put all of those things into the routine. So I will share this with the administration, and they'll be able to share it with you just to look through and follow through what we've talked about today. But thank you so much for your time, and I really, really encourage you to try out a routine. One last thing is, if you again get onto, although I'll send some PDFs to the school, but before these PDFs come, if you want, you can even still Google a template for writing a routine. It will come like, you'll get a paper that just shows you something that you can print out and use to write. But I would actually encourage you to use charts. Charts are big enough. Children can see a chart. Every child of every age can see what is on a chart, if it is written or if it's in picture form. So thank you very much for your time. And I think now I will open it up to questions. I'll throw it back to the administrator to continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Letitia Murungi, our psychologist. It has been wonderful. I believe all of us have benefited a lot. We want to thank you for the work well done, and I hope next time we call upon you, you will do it again. You will do the same. Can I request our host, our dear parent, who is our host, to unmute all accounts named Mbuya Parent School, because I'm using one of them, and I've been following chats. Parents would like to see whoever is communicating. Yeah, thank you, sir. So, Madam Letitia, as parents prepare to give their reactions or to make reactions, I want to request the head teacher to be. I want to request the head teacher to be close so that we take charge. We want to begin with the reactions we have been following from the charts. Yeah, the Zoom chat has been active. I want to thank parents who have really made a very good use of it. So let's begin with the reactions from the chats. Then afterwards, you will be free to react from all the presenters, the psychologists, then and the head teachers package. Thank you so much. So let me call upon Ms. Muma Richard to take on the first 5 reactions from the chat, and then as we move on. Thank you so much, Mr. Muma.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Herbert, our deputy head teacher. Madam Ronji, you must say that we're very grateful. You've done a commendable job. You've made our day. And I believe the parents are going to benefit. The children that you've just put across, believe is the timely communication, that's and way of living at home. I want to appreciate the parents who have so far sent in a few comments. In fact, we have quite many that show appreciation towards the school administration and our chief guest today, who has been Madam Murongi. Want to say thank you very much, parents who have appreciated and embraced whatever we've been saying here. We are very grateful. We shall not take it for granted. By courage. We are very that you get everything as per the communications that have been in the group. If you also commented on the last part of my communication, saying it was not very clear, the network was disturbing. I want it to issue of that 1 week from the to prepare themselves. It's another lot of where we work we just jump and with lessons means going so we feel of continued learning. We shall have experiments of 1 week, and then after 1 week, we shall still have another meeting where we shall agree on the cost sharing of these programs. So that was the last part of my communication. And I was requesting all the parents really to come in, and we see that our children are better positioned in terms of yeah, I think it's affecting us also. I was trying to emphasize the fact that we have been sending work to our dear children. This work as you, the parents. So we are trying to look at a scenario that we are closing with the first term work and trying to look forward to second term work. And in second term work, we have said teachers June. Yes. Our of June should be doing that we have been the WhatsApp videos and other lessons will be instant feedback from the teachers, will be teachers and this project.
Hello. Hello. Hello there.
We are hearing you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
okay. Parents, we want to apologize for the inconveniences. It has been network throughout. We are going to sit with the HM and make a summary of his report. I promise we shall make a summary of the report. Then we shall share with you on, we shall share the highlights on different platforms. Yeah, very many of you have also requested to get the report of the psychologist, what she has shared with us. I promise we are going to get that document and we shall still share it with all the parents on different platforms. A few reactions. I'm preparing to bring in Our associate director, let me talk about a few things from your reactions. One, one of the parents said that we should give work for marking weekly. I think the work has been, the work I've been giving has been on weekly basis, and the marking is, we are unable to do the marking. We cannot say bring work at school because we shall not be following the guidelines of the ministry. What we have devised as teachers, we send work on Monday or Tuesday, then we post marking guides either on Thursday or Friday. So the second reaction was parents are requesting to get marking guides. I'm wondering, we are sending the marking guides weekly. Maybe you have not noted the days. The work is always sent on, we have 2 days. If we don't send on Monday, we send on Tuesday, but common it is Monday. Then marking guides, we post them on either Thursday or Friday. So on those days, please endeavor, even if you are offline on Monday, but on Tuesday, check for the work. If you are offline on Thursday, on Friday, check for the marking guide. Maybe you have not been aware of the marking guides. Otherwise, we have been posting them for you to go through with the learners. Yeah, then a parent requested that we should make an online platform for making corrections. In my opinion, the fact that we are sending the marking guides, you can use the marking guide to go with the learner and you make corrections, because you'll be knowing what is correct and what's not correct. We can't come in there and make corrections directly. Then two, where we have been using video lessons, let's say P4 English lesson 1, the activity, each lesson ends with an activity, then the lesson 2 begins with the answers of activity in lesson 1. I don't know whether you are getting me clear, parents there. Every lesson ends with an activity. If lesson one ends with an activity, then lesson 2 will begin with the work which was given in activity 1. Lesson 4 begins with the answers of the activity in lesson 3. Lesson 5 begins with the answers from the activity of lesson 4. That's how I've been handling the lesson, the video lessons. For these revision exercises, I've told you how we do it. Marking guides are made separated and posted. The reason we don't send marking guides together with the work is because some learners are in charge of those phones. So if a learner gets the work together with the marking guide at once, he can easily copy the answers from the marking guide and proves to the parent that he has done the work. So that's why we gave it that time. The days we skip is for the learner to wind up with the work. If you check the recently posted lesson notes, they have questions at the end. If there are some missing, we are going to improve on that. Thank you so much. A parent is asking where you can get videos, lesson notes, and revision exercises. Some of the work is put on Mbuya Parents. It is put on Mbuya Parents website. I'm going to request the head of ICT to share all, she's going to share the Mbuya Parents School website. Then the videos are on YouTube. See, Mbuya Parents created the channel there. You can find them. So all the details will be given on how to get each. Last but not least, a parent is requesting that we should send work which can be edited instead of sending PDF. I think you are right to some extent, but on the other hand, we looked into it and found it disturbing, because if you send work which can be edited, then at the end of the day, you'll come up with 10 numbers from one number. Each child will try to edit the work, for example, to match what he thinks it's supposed to be. Yeah, so that's why we don't send work which can be edited. But if there are some corrections that really necessitate, then we are going to look into our management so that we send work which has no real errors. Sometimes what learners think are errors, you find it's because of their interpretation. That's my experience. Any parent requests that we recommend specific books for buying for the learners. I am going to sit with the team of heads of department and the class teachers. Then we are going to make a list, then share the books you can buy to better the learning. Shall share the books on different platforms. My parents say that children do work, but they don't get feedback. Children do work, but we don't give them feedback. I think we are going to improve on this, but in my thinking, the marking guides we have been making is part of feedback, and the corrections we do in video lessons, they are part of feedback. Any other feedback you'd like to have, as long as it's in the regulations of the Ministry of Education and Sports, please you can share with us on the chat. Yeah, then still HM was communicating about the last part of his speech, where he talked of course sharing in terms of Zoom lessons when we commence on 22nd June. He said that it is going to be term 2 work with effect from 22nd June. So the administration will have to first test and see the necessary logistics to have the Zoom lessons, and also see how best we can keep all the different avenues we have been using for learning. So that's what he was trying to clarify, and any parent with any reactions, you are free to share with us. Yeah, let me request our Associate Director, Mr. Mugabe Roger, yeah, to go on with the next item on the agenda. I thank you so much. Feel free to write more reactions. We are copying them, we are posted, then we shall get back to you. Mr. Mugabe Rogers, you are most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mnanura. I am pleased to be here as well to share a few thoughts with the parents. But first, let me extend our very, very deep gratitude towards Mr. Stephen Malwadi, who is hosting us. As we may all be aware, our earlier scheduled meeting got a technical problem, and if it wasn't for Mr. Stephen, who is hosting us now, I assure you we wouldn't be here. So he came to us as a lifesaver, and we are really, really grateful. Thank you, sir, and may God bless you. Yeah, let me also thank Miss Letitia Murunji, who had a very insightful presentation. Yeah, I also want to thank parents who have patient with us and participated in today's session. From the school, I would just love to convey our message that to all the parents, it is high time that we embraced the new normal in these COVID times, embracing technology in order that learning by our dear children continues despite the disruptions that we are facing currently. Now, I would like to urge all of us to see to it that none of our children is made to lose a year or to lose valuable time because of a pandemic. It is not necessary, especially since we are people that live in the city with access to technology and modern gadgets. And I even know that our children will not forgive us if we let them sit home for a year doing nothing. And you know, in this day and age that is very competitive, time is very much of the essence. So let us embrace all the programs that have been arranged by the school under the stewardship of our head teacher and his team. They are being creative every day that passes by to see that they keep our learners engaged, that syllabus coverage is is done, and that time is not lost, and that we optimize whatever we can to see that learning continues. So yeah, from the school, we want to thank you for cooperating with the earlier programs. As you have been told, we've been sharing notes, videos, questions, and we are going to start Zoom classes. And yeah, we thank those that have taken part in those programs, and we want to encourage all of us to come on assessing work. You can do so on our website, and you can also contact your respective class teachers. They'll be in position to guide you on and avail you with all the work that has been shared. So let us pick it up from there as we await the Ministry of Education guidelines. Lastly, I would like to encourage, or rather to resound the head teacher's message that for all our parents that had a school fees balance from term 1, we have found it very difficult to operate, and we request that a payment be made to clear that outstanding. Reason being that we still have to maintain our teachers who are sharing work and have families to look after as well. So if you can make those payments, they will come in handy and be of very much help. Yeah, at this juncture, let me hand over to Mr. Munanura to moderate and bring on board parents that have messages or suggestions. So those who have suggestions, who have questions and inquiries, I think now is the time, but let me hand over to Teacher Herbert to moderate that session. I am mindful that we were meant to end today's session at 1 and we have overshot our time. So I will request everyone involved to be very brief, and then we can wind up today's session and look forward to another meeting in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Councillor Roger. I request our host, who is our dear parent, to check on the list of participants, and we share with some of the parents who have reactions. You can be instructed to unmute and share with us. Please, our host, pick on one at a time. We want to hear from our esteemed parents.
Hello.
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 Yes, please.
Yes. Good
This
afternoon.
is Mamoche. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, madam.
Me, I was just saying thank you for Teacher Tamala. Tamala has made us everything, has done everything. Work, what, everything. Telling us which is going on, what is going on. I'm just thanking Teacher Tamala.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Let's have another one.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. This is Charles, one of the parents. Thank you so much. Head teacher was talking about the candidate registration, but
Yes,
his network was a little bit breaking. I did not pick that part well. Maybe I may need some clarification on the candidate classes registration, especially the P7. How will it be done and when will it be done? I did not got that point well.
Yes.
Secondly, I would like to really appreciate Leticia for the presentation, and she really did a good work. For sure, when you deserve the credit, you have to receive the credit. She has really done the best. So we would like to ask the school management also to share with us. And if they can share us to the website where we can Google in and get that platform where, because she talked about the format where we can put our routine activities, if we can share that website, it will be much better. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Charles. Let's have another one and let's try to be brief.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Nicholas Wandera is my name.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank the administration for arranging for this meeting. It has been very helpful, and we have gained a lot as parents. And we also want to thank you for bringing Letitia on board. She has done a tremendous job. I need clarification on the Zoom classes you're planning to hold. Some of us have more than one child in different classes, like for me, I have P6 and P5. And I'm wondering how you're going to plan it out, because they are going to be using one gadget. So I'm wondering how you are planning to have it done. Besides that, we also have other classes in secondary who are also using the same platform. So it's a little bit challenging on my side, for instance, hosting 4 classrooms on Zoom and at different times or at the same times. I don't know how you're going to plan along those lines, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we'll have such scenarios happening. And as you plan, please put into considerations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wandera. Point noted. Yes, can we move on?
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, all. This is Hope.
Yes,
mine
please.
is also related to, this is Mama Ashley, related to Zoom classes. I also have to put into consideration that some of us parents are actually working. And of course, as you know, there is a lot of stuff going on internet. So even those Zoom classes, they need a parent, to be around to ensure on what their kids are having access on internet. So we are requesting that when you are putting that into consideration, think about parents who who have to leave early in the morning to go to work and also come back maybe like in the evening. And also too, I would like, the head teacher did mention the second term starting. Yes, this. So I'm just wondering if we are required to pay for the second term or something like that. I just wanted some clarification. Madam Letitia, it's really been a very wonderful thing, and I'm just looking forward for the template, and we can enlarge using the template, the Manila papers you have said. Thank you so very much, and we are grateful for all what you guys are doing. Be blessed.
Thank you, Hope.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, this is Semakula Martin, Chairman P1, P2. I'd like to thank Letitia for the presentation. It was very good. And dear parents, please take it into consideration and implement what she was really trying to put across. I'd like to thank Teacher Carol. She took her time to call each and every parent. And at least I see the attendance is very perfect today. We shall need also a timetable for the Zoom classes. We are not always home. We come back a bit late. Will it be in the morning? Will it be in the evening? Will it be over the weekend? Please enlighten us on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Semakula. Point noted.
Hello.
Let me request we are going to receive more too, then we make reactions so far, those who have reacted. But I mean, we ask.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Hello.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. We
Good
can hear you,
afternoon.
madam.
This is Stella, speaking from Juba.
You're Stella. Okay. Thank you.
Hello. Yes, I would
Yes, Stella, you are most welcome.
Yes, I would like to thank the school administration for this. At the same time, thanking the I've been following the program closely. She talked about books that to just inquire get maybe linked to some of the books that we can purchase for these kids, either purchasing maybe online or anything. For example, for lower classes.
Thank you so much. Point noted.
Hello?
Hello, Noreen, we can hear you.
Yeah, my question is, in case the government doesn't provide a continuation for the whole of this year and kids don't have to like to come back to school the whole of this year and they have to come back next year, will there be a provision of how they're going to do exams such that they get promoted to the next classes?
Your point noted, madam.
Hello.
And then the other thing, like, could there be at least a way we could purchase books, like a guideline, or like provide for us books we can purchase, the reading books, especially like my daughter, she's in P2 and her reading is totally very bad.
Yes, yeah, we are going to do that. I've already captured that reaction on the chat. We are going to make a list and forward on different platforms. Parents, I request that we first go through what we have so far reacted, then we shall go for round 2. I invite the head teacher to talk about what we have reacted.
Thank you, Teacher Herbert, for receiving all our questions from our dear parents. And I want to thank the parents who have posted their questions to us. I want to begin with the issue of candidates registration. I think I communicated that we gave you forms when we are breaking up temporarily, and we thought you'd be in a position to use this lockdown also to think around the corner, to make choices of senior one. What we want to assure our parents is that the ministry is sitting day and night, trying to look up the right solutions to learning. They have already suggested the candidate class will report first. So we could really be very patient and working around the clock so that we prepare for the resumption of term 2 and the learning. The issue of promotion of children, there are very many ways of assessing children. It may not only be exams, even the very work that we have been sending is enough assessment. So we encourage the parents really to use that work effectively so that the children are doing this work. Because at the end of the day, it's the child who will lose. Each time the child is not in class, there's a lot lost. Even if the child sat the whole year, catching up after missing for the whole year is something that's a bit tedious. So it's better to keep your child in a learning mode. Purchasing of books, the deputy teacher has already told you is going to sit with the heads of the department, and through our different WhatsApp platforms, you'll get a feedback on which books are fit for your children. Zoom lessons, parents are complaining of issues of time when, because of the challenges of work and so on. We foresaw all this, and that's why we gave you a break. We gave ourselves a break of 1 week for us to think around the box as parents and teachers, so that we have an effective way of sharing the few gadgets we have. What we are going to do as a school is to post a timetable. I think by Monday, we shall have posted a timetable. And when this timetable comes in, it will help you to plan when and who comes to use the gadget first. The beauty about our lessons, they will not be very long. They will be in lower primary, we shall use 20 minutes. That's P1 to P4, lower and middle primary. Then in upper primary, we shall use 40 minutes. And we intend to run from 7:30 to around 11. So kindly use the 1 week to plan ahead for these lessons. For those really who are challenged with the gadgets and the work schedule. Another one talked of the timetable. I think I've answered that we shall send on Monday. Then the other issues of payment of second term, we have already seen some people saying they're at home, they're not working and so on. Once appreciate the situation, it's not a situation that anybody predicted, but also on the other hand, we love parents to pull it out for our teachers who are here and trying to do a lot of donkey work. Some work from their homes. Traveling is not easy to come to school daily. There are costs of MBs and so on. Kindly, we would feel that these payments should be made so that we keep on running. COVID is here maybe to stay. So we should think outside the box and see that we find a way of living with COVID. I think so far, Mr. Mnara, those are the questions I received. And I would bring back to you to pick on from there.
Thank you so much, head teacher. Can I give an opportunity to our psychologists to react to a few things? I know most of the parents have been very appreciative, but I think they want to be rest assured of receiving the document, because that's what everybody is repeating now and after. So, Madam Orange.
Okay.
And yes, please.
Okay, let me
Yes,
start my video. You can see me. Yes, so I am definitely going to share this PowerPoint with you so that you can refer to it. That one I'm going to share with Roger or part of administration. So you'll receive it today is Sunday, no later than Tuesday. You will have it ready. Another thing that I just wanted to point out, because I saw it on one of the chats, one of the parents pointed out that since I talked about screen time and yet we're learning online, how does that work? And I just wanted to clarify that, of course, this is the new normal and the children are learning online. We can't avoid that. But as part of the routine for the child, there is educational online, then leisure online. So minimize the leisure online and keep it short. As long as you make sure that your child has had all these other aspects we've talked about, then that leisure screen time can come later. One last thing that I'd also like to advise, another thing I'd like to advise is about reading. I've had many parents bring back, because I've talked about, and the school keeps talking about reading. It's important indeed that you get this list of books, but even before you get this list of books and you're trying to purchase books, it depends on the age of the child. Many of these books actually have, sorry, I've gone off the screen. Many of these books have on something like the grade. Now you see this book, I know this is called The Ugly Duckling, and it shows that it is level 1, P1. So when you're buying books, if it's from Aristoc, if it's from any bookshop that you come across that has books for children, the younger the children, the less words there are on the page and the more pictures, the better. So the school is going to share a list of books, but keep in mind that you can get the smaller books for the younger ones. And then for your older children, you get things that have a bit more words in them, because now this one has level 4 on the book, and this is a book called Heidi, and you can see that the words are more. So if it is fictional books, if it is textbooks, the books usually have on the grade. Wherever you're buying from, ask for what age level are these books, and then you will be able to get a variety. And a child can read a book more than once. Actually, I encourage you to don't read a book once with a child and then they start to tear it or they drop it. Keep them in the same place and let a child read over and over, because every time they read it, they're learning some new words. And the last thing is about in the routine for academic learning. One thing I'd like to point out is that the school is going to send work, but let's keep in mind that children get demotivated. Some of the children might be struggling. So like I said, do not pack your child and ensure that they have to do things for an hour or they have to do a lot of this work. Break down work. What do I mean by break down work? If the teacher sent 30 numbers, it doesn't mean your child has to do 30 numbers. Sit with your child and see that today, on Monday, how many can you do? You alternate the subjects. That will build on their attention and they're a bit more motivated, because when they see the work and it's a lot, I've seen it a lot with children, the child just switches off. So even with this work, if it is written work, especially the written work, don't pump the child and say you have to finish it all. Try and work with the child and see what you can break down. Break down the work into small chunks with your child. Sit with your child and say, how many numbers can we do? Of course, if the child says 3, those are few. Remember, you're the parent. So come back and say, okay, can we bring it up to 5 or 6 or 7? And when they do their 7, you say, you see, you did this. Now let's add a few more. You keep doing it in small bits. That keeps the child motivated, as opposed to being demoralized and thinking this work is too much. So thank you very much, but I will send this document through to the school and you'll all be able to receive it. And I'll also share my contacts so the school can share them. I've seen someone requesting for that.
Thank you so much, Madam Moronjetisha. You have been so helpful and you have also answered very many questions that have been fronted on the Zoom group chat. Before we go for the last round, can I request the head teacher to go through the reactions that have been running on our group chat as Madam Marunji was communicating? Thank you, Mr. Moon.
Thank you, Teacher Herbert. I think the biggest one now is the issue of, is it second term school fees or a contribution? Parents, the point is very clear. We have been working closely with you right from March when we broke up. We went with a package, and for those 12 weeks, we have been sending work, which you have ably appreciated here. So as a school, we're also running a bit stuck, and we are thinking we could run to our government, which is you. I have already appreciated the input by the directors to see that they facilitate this work up to this level. Now that we are moving to level 2 of second term, it's where I put my request to you that you allow us come with a trimmed fee that can cater for these services that we are going to improve, especially during this time. We are going to do Zoom, plus other alternatives that can give us effective teaching. Not could be Google Classroom and so on, but we are enrolling Zoom with effect from 22nd of June. So there will be a reasonable amount that will be thought with by the administrators. And after experimenting for 1 week, we shall still have this kind of meeting to let you know what we have zeroed to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mumwa. Yeah, let's go to this last round of our reactions, but I want to request to have only 3 parents, then one of the parents can give us a closing prayer, and we close this meeting. Mr. Mumwa, as we go to pick some other reactions, I want you to note down 2 reactions from the chat. Yeah, a parent is saying some parents work from Monday to Monday and they come back in the night. So who will manage the Zoom lessons? They are saying it is not favorable for all. Then let me react to this one. A parent said, we don't receive work at all. Can I request whoever does not receive work to please give a phone call to your class teacher at the end of this meeting and provide the current WhatsApp number. There are some parents who gave class teachers contacts that are not on WhatsApp. So when we are creating WhatsApp groups for the parents at class level, we found problems. So we provided teachers with the airtime to call the parents and get the updated WhatsApp number so that we can share. So if you are still there and you don't receive work, probably provided the number that is not on WhatsApp. So whoever is not receiving work, please at the end of this meeting, call the class teacher. If you can't, can I request teacher Evelyn to put my WhatsApp number on the screen here? Whoever gets challenges, you can use them as your fallback. I can always get your number. You just put your the name of the child and the stream, then I forward the very number to that particular stream WhatsApp group. I think we can handle it like that. Let's have 3 parents reacting, then we go on and close.
Hello.
Hello, you are welcome.
Hello, teacher, but good afternoon. Yeah, I just have one concern,
Almighty, want to thank you. We give you glory
I'm
and
grateful
honor.
that we
We
still have
bless your name
over
for this
100
day.
parents
We
which are
thank
still
you for
logged on.
everybody that has organized
My
this meeting.
concern, my
Thank you for
gratitude
every
goes to the
parent. We
school
thank you for
of all
every
I've tried to
child,
do.
Lord,
It was a
that you have
packed
given unto us, oh
period,
Lord.
actually.
That
The
Lord,
work was
as
quite
we organize,
engaging.
as we come together,
And
Lord,
it also
for
made
the
us
future
get to
of our
understand
children, Lord,
how our
we call
kids
upon your hand,
manage
the hand of mercy,
the timetables,
upon your
whether at
hand of
school or
favor, upon
even
your
when we
hand
take
of
them home.
blessings, oh Lord,
Without that,
unto us, that Lord,
my
we will
kids
stand
wouldn't
with
be
our
doing
children,
much right
even in
now.
these difficult
But my
times,
big
God.
concern now
You will
goes
stand
to
with
the
us, oh Lord,
parents.
to help
We
us,
have
help
been
our
in
children,
WhatsApp
Lord.
groups
Give
on
us
our
the
side,
heart, oh
more
Lord.
than
Give
2
us the
WhatsApp
grace,
groups
oh
for
God, to
second.
do what we are expected
We
to
have
do
just
as
noticed
parents,
some
oh Lord.
concern
And
where
we pray
I
for
think
open
some
doors upon
parents
each and
are
every one of
allowing
us. You
children
know
to
all
be
our
on
teachers and
WhatsApp
what they are
group
going through, my Lord.
and sharing
You are the God of
inappropriate
favor. You are the God of
either
grace.
their
We
pictures
pray
of
that
their
you will be with
friends,
us, you will guide
their
us, you will open
discussions as
doors,
late as
and you
11
will
midnight.
lead the way of
I would
everything
appeal
that
to
we
our
are going
parents
to
that
do.
as
We
much
give you
as
glory, we honor your
we
name.
allow our
Take the
children
lead
to
of
use these
everything.
platforms,
Without
we
you, we
could probably
cannot do
have
it.
we
We
just got
bless your
a
name.
good lecture
In Jesus' name we
from
pray and believe.
psychologists.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Who is telling us that
Amen.
we need to have timetable
Parents,
and
God
schedule
bless
our
you.
kids to do
And thanks
whatever
once
they
again
do.
for being
So
part of
probably we
this
need to
meeting.
put this into practice and we schedule at what point should our children have these phones, because we can't have a phone of their own, they're using our phone. So we have control over what time they should have their phone. Having
Thank
a
you so
phone at
much.
11 at midnight, I think sometimes is too much. And because these messages are going.
Thank you so much, sir. We have noted the point, and I'm sure this one is thrown to all of us parents. Yeah, you have heard. Let me not empty the reaction, but he has made it very clear. Yeah. Let me have the second one. Hello. Hello. Hello, parent.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Hi, my name is Alfred Cole, and I'm father to Sabaha.
Yes,
I just
Alfred.
wanted to put forward that I really appreciate what the school is doing, you know, to continue the education of our children, which is brilliant. I know it's not very easy doing online lessons, so hands up for you guys.
Thank you.
So I wanted to say thank you to Miss Mirunje for the presentation she did. In terms of
Hello, Alfred. The network is breaking.
sorry, it's feedback.
Hello.
I'm still here. So I wanted just to bring to your attention that in terms of Zoom, as a school, you need to be very careful, because there's been news that Zoom has been penetrated by hackers. So some of the information that might be given throughout these lessons might be tapped by outsiders. So something that you guys need to be careful about. However, I highly, highly recommend that your school becomes a Google school.
Yes.
In terms of you know, opening up classes for each and every stream, I've found that personally, I'm a teacher, and in the school I teach in, we are using Google Classroom, and it is very stable. And in terms of privacy, in terms of security, it's much more manageable compared to Zoom. And Google Classroom, you're able to save activities, you're able to save videos of the lesson, which the children can. It doesn't matter what device the children work. And if you guys need a hand on doing this on deployment, I am working once a day. I'm able to support you guys. Okay?
Thank you so much, Alfred. Can you share with me your number?
Yes, please, I can do that.
Okay, yeah. My number is on the screen. You please get it, kindly get it, then you share with me your number. We shall talk more with administration. Yeah, thank you for the point.
Name, please.
Thank you for the points. They have all been appreciated and noted. Can I have the last parent? Then we want to share these reactions and we close. Okay, I think that has been good enough. Yeah, let me call upon the head teacher to react on some of the points. As he comes, let me also talk about parent had the concern where we give learners phones and they begin chatting and posting images and whichever videos they come across. I think it was a very relevant concern. As parents, we need to be in control of whatever our learners are doing, because if you simply give them phones, they will go for things which are not relevant to the group. I've always seen parents complaining about the same circumstances where learners chat on WhatsApp group, which is for academic issues, and they are doing other things. I think as parents, we should be in charge and stop such acts from continuing.
Thank you, Teacher Herbert. I think I have one or two here on parents who work Monday to Monday, feeling that they will be left behind. I want to say that the Zoom lessons are going to move hand in hand with what we have been doing. That's the lesson notes and the revision exercises. So parents who have such a schedule and you have no any other alternative, I would request that you find time within your routine to always sit with your child and go through the lesson notes that we shall be sending, because it's the same work that we are going to teach during these Zoom lessons. Then the weeks where we have the videos, you could also benefit from those videos. Even if you're at your place of work, you can download them, put them on a flash or DVD or CD. Then when you go back home, kindly give your child those videos to benefit from. And allow me to thank all those parents who have given us words of advice, words of counsel, and those who have raised their voices through this meeting. Want to appreciate all the contributions that you have made. We also want to appreciate the time that you have given us. It has been quite a while since we last interacted, but we wanted to say we are very, very grateful. It has been sweet hearing from you. We pledge as Mbuya Parents School to continue serving you day by day and bettering our services. We shall explore all that it takes for us to give you all that it takes. Our humble request is that please stand with us so that the world does not end with COVID-19. Life has to continue. Keep our children advised to take the measures of staying at home, observing the social distance, but above all, doing their normal routines. The biggest portion of their normal routine should be learning, because at their age, they are largely there to study. So they should learn as much as they can. And please, parents, let's avail time and let's be available in our children's lives. I thank you and I wish you all the best in your endeavors and in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our head teacher. Yeah, for everything for today. I don't want to repeat anything. Just want to promise our parents that we shall keep in touch. We shall keep you posted on whichever move we are taking, and we shall keep sharing and learning from each other, because learning never comes to an end. There are some other reactions that have kept on running on the group chat, but my secretary has taken a very good care of them. We have captured them because they are important to the growth and the development of this institution of Mbuya Parents School. We shall have to share them as administrators and also share with you where necessary. Can I request one of the parents to give us a closing prayer and we'll officially close this meeting? Whoever is ready, please just unmute and give us the closing prayer.